And we're live. Hey guys, welcome back to Whiskey Charlie, the War Game Chat, our monthly show on YouTube. I'm your host, Mo from Mo's Game Table, and joining me are my two esteemed co-hosts, everybody's favorite Gimp with the Limp, Gimpy Gamer, Nate Rogers. How's it going, Nate?
Glory stay in the core.
And the notorious asshole wargaming wizard from Oz, Kev Sharp from the big board. How's it going, Kev?
Good. With an intro like that, I better not say anything negative.
No, you got to say negative. I mean, it's you're notorious.
I'm notorious.
My camera's all wonky today because my regular camera won't work, so I'm having to use the one in StreamYard. So it like blanks out with the weird screen, so my head's going in and out, which is weird. But see, we had some people early. McMurray was here saying hi, and hopefully he was going to be able to make it through the beginning of the stream. We were a couple minutes late because Nate had some issues with his camera not working. So did I, as we were able to kind of get it to work. And we got Christoph, Nordic, McMurray, Richard's here from Macon, Georgia.
Charles, Brian.
Yeah. Get down here, Ed. Oh my God, look who's here. Sleepless Night in Europe.
Fabrizio.
It's like it's got to be a real late night there for you to be here. Charles, thanks for coming by. And there's Fabrizio again. So, Nate, what have you been up to while I go through these comments?
Been busy, man. It's been one thing after another. Little boy's birthday was just a few days ago. So that kept us occupied. He turned the big 1-0. So he's 10 now. And seems like I mentioned to you guys previously, publishers always come to you all at the same time when they want reviews. You go a couple of months, nobody's reaching out for anything, and then 1 week you'll get like 10 requests all at once. It's like, yeah, you guys just have to, wait now. But since I opened up and started doing the digital stuff, I've been getting a lot more traction in that direction, a lot more review copies, because it's much easier to send a code than it is an actual game to someone.
Right. And you're like big time in the whole digital gaming space now, like a player.
He's a player.
Yeah, with Slytherin and Microprose. So I'm happy about that. I just got done playing Armor Brigade 2, which is really good.
Nice.
Just got a review up for that. So been having a little fun with that one.
Very cool. And what have you been up to, Kev? I know you've been doing a lot of video lately. You had Last Campbell, and then you had the latest with the Brook, and now you're working on another one.
Yeah, the Pratson from Clueless Publishing. No, what's it called? Canvas Temple Publishing. Very interesting game. We can maybe talk about that later, because let's start out on a positive note. And I've been playing.
Spoiler alert!
Yeah, spoiler alert.
That game's gonna suck.
Yeah, I've been playing GMT's Barbarossa, and some of that. I'm playing a very cool play by email game, which I don't know how involved you are in it, Mo, because I know you're in it a little bit.
Which one?
But
that one, yeah.
Yeah, the Singapore game, Fall of Singapore, I think it's called, or something like that. So that's kind of fun. And I got my Ardennes 44 game. I think we started in June. So we've been getting a turn a week done on that, but not playing every week. So, but some playing some bad guys in that one. So that's about it. That's all.
Very nice. Well, the one that I'm really interested in, I'm hoping, as Ed had mentioned, the Steam fall sale starts tomorrow, and I'm hoping that maybe Microprose will put that game on sale.
Which one? Armor Brigade 2?
No, not Armor Brigade 2. The other one that Nate has been talking about, the
Second
naval
Front?
one. No, naval one.
Oh, Sea Power.
That's the one.
Yeah, they've been updating the hell out of game, and Sea Power is actually quite good. So if you're in the naval combat, if like Cold Waters, I think you played Cold Waters. We talked about that one before, the submarine game.
Oh yeah.
If you like Cold Waters, it's like Cold Waters taken to the next level, because it's not just submarines, surface warships, aircraft carriers, destroyers, cruisers. Then you've got planes, and there's some ground vehicles, but they're just kind of tangential to what's going on.
Yeah.
But if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to do very badly. Like I hadn't cut on my radar, in the first time I was trying it. So the MiGs were coming in and just blowing my destroyers out of the water.
Where you coming from? God.
Yeah, I was like, they're not firing back. Like my guys were firing, but they were missing everything.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
But yeah, Sea Power is excellent. It does cost a bit. It's what, 49?
Yeah, it's like $50, I think, right now, and
Yeah.
it's only an early release too. So
I mean, it's worth it. There's a lot of
Mhm.
gameplay to it, though.
Yeah.
So,
How
It's
many
in
hours?
that
Like,
way.
is this a 100-hour game? You think you would play? You think you put 100 into it?
oh yeah, you could easily put 100 hours into it.
I
Plus,
got
it's
40 or 50
mission
hours
editor.
in. Yeah, with the editor that'll add, but I got 40 or 50 hours in Cold Waters easy.
Yeah. Oh, and Cold Waters is phenomenal.
Yeah, now in this one you do surface, subsurface, right? Now,
Yeah.
are you in control of groups or are you in control of individual subs and individual ships?
Both. You can take
Oh,
control and
hell
like
yeah.
actually do the WASD thing and steer the ship. Same with the submarines, or you can give like plots, coordinates to your
Mhm.
group, so your naval group will move forward. One of the missions I remember, I showed the video of. I had my naval group, so it was a battleship with a few cruisers and some destroyers, and I was trying to take out a Russian carrier that had its own naval group, but I had to deal with little islands that had missiles and everything on them. So it was figuring out how to control the group. I accidentally ran them aground and then couldn't get turned around. It's not easy. It leans heavier into simulation than it does arcade. So it takes a little bit. There's a lot of hotkeys you got to figure out before you can really get into that one. But it's
Well,
worth it.
that was the fun thing I thought with Cold Waters, because Cold Waters was sim light. It wasn't simulation, but it wasn't arcadey. I mean,
But it was
definitely-
accessible.
It was very accessible. It was very accessible, but it helps if you understand submarine warfare a little bit better. The thing I didn't like about was as you're moving around the big map, you're moving your sub around to try to get to different missions they give you and things like that. It made it harder. You basically just either ran into an enemy or you would try to chase them down sometimes, but it was hard to set an approach. So you couldn't really do what a submarine would do, which is you'd set an approach vector and you'd come in slow and low, nice and deep, and work your way up and then use thermal layers and everything else to try to track down the surface group and then attack them without them being able to see you. So that's where it is. The arcadey aspect of it, the gamey aspect, it got a little too much there, but it was still fun. I mean, I still
Well,
love
you
the
could
hell out of it.
plot a course though, right? Couldn't you plot coordinates?
Oh no, you could do the coordinates, but you couldn't do the approach. So like I couldn't approach from like maybe 50,000 yards or 75,000 yards out where I knew they were. I was getting a contact and I could work my way in. Every time you did, you were of like 30, 40,000 yards away, which is really close. They can pretty much get a beat on you, just like you can get a beat on them very quickly. They wanted to get you right into the action. I wanted to take a little bit more of the stealth approach and try to work my way in without being caught, and then if you do the China one, which is like set in the year 2000, the Chinese, the South China Sea campaign, you're in a sea wolf. So you're pretty much a hole in the water. You're going to be real hard to find, and they can still find you pretty easy, which I was just like, I'm going 3 miles an hour or 3 knots. I mean, I'm barely moving. I shouldn't be
Right.
caught. I'm at 900 feet and I'm at 3 knots. I shouldn't be found at all. And they've got a strong layer. So it should be difficult. And that was doing it without even dipping sonar, things like that. They were just finding me with their surface contacts. So I
Well,
was just
Sea
like,
Power, it leans more into simulation when it comes to like the submarine battle. I remember one scenario I played, it was sub versus sub. So my sub versus a Russian sub. And I'm trying to track it and I'm getting just a bit of noise, like a ping here, a ping there. And of course I'm doing slow, so I'm not cavitating in the water, going deeper, floating along that layer, had the towed sonar behind me. And I tracked this thing for a while and it was just taking me forever. So I wanted to get some action on the video. I'm like, all right, I'm going to speed up and cut on my active ping. I'm like, don't do this if you're actually playing the game, but let's just see how long it takes me to die if I,
hey,
go
everybody,
balls out.
here I am.
Oh, it was seconds. Literally, I started cavitating and cut on the active sonar. And within a second, I hear torpedo in the water, torpedo in the water, torpedo in the water.
Mhm.
And was just taken out. He nailed me right off the bat. So you have to do it smart. You have to do it slow. You have to track him, finally figure out where he's at, get your solution, and then fire. I think he was going up and down across that layer.
Yeah,
because
that's what you do.
Yeah, I'd get a hit here, and then he'd be gone, and I would go back up above the layer, and I'd get another hit, and then it'd be gone. So I think he was kind of floating it back and forth,
Well,
which is good to see the AI doing that.
That's why I was asking you, can you control your total array and stuff like that? Because what happens is when you see where the thermal is, and there may actually be more than one, but if you get to that strong thermal layer, you can cruise right on top of it, and your towed array is going to be underneath you below the layer. So you're listening with your passive sonar above, and then you're also listening with your towed array below. So you're getting the best of both worlds at that point.
So you got to go slow enough so it falls down beneath that layer.
Yeah, and it should go beneath that layer unless they don't model that in a game. That's what I was asking you. Did it do stuff like that? Because that's an old tactic that they used to use too. I mean, they still do, but
it depends. Depending on what type of sonar you were using, if you weren't active, then it wouldn't allow you to go fast enough to cause cavitation. So the higher you got in the water, the slower you went to keep from making the bubbles.
Well, yeah, that's just the law of what's the word I'm looking for? It's the pressure. The lower you go, the faster you can move because the pressure is greater, so you're not going to cavitate. You get up higher, you spin faster, it's going to create all those bubbles. That's going to create your cavitation.
Less bubbly.
It's bubbly.
Yeah. For people curious, yeah, Sea Power is excellent. It's definitely worth getting. If you like naval combat games, you'll love it. It's really good, and the graphics are actually really good too. Like the ships are done well. The terrain, like the islands, look very basic, but you would expect that.
Yeah, nice. And did everybody download and play the latest 6 Days in Fallujah?
I have not had a chance yet.
What?
I've got like 5 digital games that I've got to review right now. I've got a couple more from Microprose. I've got another one from Slytherin, the ICBM Escalation.
Really?
Yeah, they just sent me that one.
They have the Ukraine expansion yet?
No. But I just started poking around at that last night, and then I got that Broken but Not Forgotten, or I forget the exact name of it. It's the World War II version of XCOM.
Okay.
Is what they did. That's another one from Microprose. So is that the one I just mentioned, and then they've got another post-apocalyptic one that they just sent me. So I've had so many games, I haven't had a chance to actually play the ones that I wanted to play. So it's kind of turning into similar to like board games. That, and I got freaking D-Day Dice behind me, the Pacific version that they just sent. But I got to try to get filmed as well before their Kickstarter in December.
D-Day Dice?
Yeah, you never heard of that game before?
No, I have. I'm just they sent you that copy. You're playing that for they're doing another Kickstarter.
They're doing the Pacific version of D-Day Dice.
Nice.
So they sent me a demo set to try out.
Cool.
The guys behind SAS Rogue Regiment.
Oh, okay. SAS.
Yeah, it was one of their buddies or someone they work with or whatever, but basically they were like, yeah, you did a good job on the SAS videos, so would you mind covering this game too? And I was like, yeah, I don't mind. I've always wanted to try it, never got a chance to, so I don't mind sitting down with a Pacific version.
I got a question for you, a wise-ass question. You know what SAS stands for?
I knew it. I looked it up because I wanted to know for the video, and I can't remember.
Special Air Service. It's a precursor to the United States Delta Force. That's what Beckwith built Delta Force off of, was the British SAS.
Yeah, but they've been around since World War II.
Yes.
Right? Same time frame as like the SEALs.
No, SEALs didn't come into existence. UDT first, and then they became SEALs.
SEALs, it was 1963 they became the SEALs, but they were UDT rather back in World War II.
Yeah. And then as Christoph says, SBS is a special boat service. That is the British version of the Navy SEALs.
Special boats. We've got that. We call it SWIC.
No. They're the special boat service is like SEALs. The SWICs are the guys that get them in and out. Those are
taxi guys.
The SEALs, it's kind of like SOAR. The SOAR guys are the guys who fly them in. Those are the pilots that are insanely talented. They can they can put one wheel on the roof of a building of a big Chinook. They can land one wheel there so you can get people on and off a helo, and then they get out of there. These guys are insanely talented. Plus they're quiet.
No, they're still not Marines.
My builder was a SAW pilot, but not
Really?
kilos. He did aircraft.
Nice. So, okay, what else do we got? Any other video games?
Video games. Let's see, which ones haven't I covered? I will make sure I touch more on Armor Brigade while we're talking about the video game ones. If you played Armor Brigade 1, the second one's going to feel very, very familiar, and it's kind of like Combat Mission. In my review, talking about it, you know how there's multiple versions of Combat Mission, right? There's the Delta, there's World War II, the Italian Front, all that thing, but they all operate off the same skeletal structure. It's all the same core game with different eras and units being involved. Armor Brigade 2 is kind of going that same route. It doesn't improve things like graphics, so you're not getting a new looking game, you're getting an improved game. So it's improved like radio communications or artillery support or how infantry fight, the small unit action. So the skeletal work of the game has been improved. But if you had two people playing it on two different monitors, you probably couldn't tell which game was which.
Really?
Yeah. I'm not saying the game's bad, but you spend a lot of time scrolled back. So you're looking at like NATO symbols, right? So you're not looking at the individual detail. They show that individual detail in the images for the game, but I think that's kind of misleading because nobody's going to play the game that way. You're not going to be zoomed into that scale. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. You need to be pulled back so you can know where you need to put your indirect fire and whatnot. And that game, it's kind of like the Fields of Fire of its genre because no order is executed immediately. There's always a delay. Right. Just like, commander gives the order, the troops aren't going to instantly get it. It's going to be passed down through the chain of command, blah, blah, blah. Takes a second to start operating.
Is it a real time game or can you pause and give orders?
Both. It's real time. You can do real time or you can pause. So if you want to pause, make your little plan of action and then, unpause it, you can do that. If you don't want to pause at all, you don't have to. It has the option to do turn based, but I haven't ever switched over to that. I've always done it real time. It's a really good game. I mean, it's it leans more simulation, but it has enough of an arcadey feel that you can pick up and play it without, killing yourself.
Yeah, Primarch X, you just missed it. We just finished up. We're finishing up actually talking about the video game aspect of the show. We may still come back to some more of it, but we were talking about that. We were talking about Armored Brigade 2 and whole bunch of, and then I started mentioning about 6 days. I will just briefly talk about 6 days, the new update. Now they finally have added in the AI team. So now you're controlling 3 other Marines as you go room or building to building, room to room, so on and so forth.
Still just skirmish though, right?
No, they've got new missions. They've got
that's what I mean. No campaign yet.
Oh no, they got 6 or 8 missions of a campaign.
Oh,
so you start off with Fallujah 1. With the invasion of Fallujah the first time, that's the first mission, and then you get pulled out, and there's civilians in this one in the first mission.
Yeah.
So you don't know
there the whole time.
Yeah, but no, in the mission we haven't had those in any of the missions before. We haven't had civilians before. Now we do. So they got them in the first
like
one.
In real life, civilians were always there.
Yeah, but I mean they didn't have it in any of the game missions, but they did in the first one. Then they pull you out, and then they do a thing about the U.S. losing its resolve, and then we had to back out and wait till November, and then we went in on Phantom Fury. And the way they kick it off for Phantom Fury is pretty cool because you're riding in Humvees and you're going in, and you just feels like you're part of a bigger battle now. It's not just you're going to go in with your 4-man fire team and your AAV or whatever. No, there's stuff going on around you. And you see helos going in, you see bombs going off, you see explosions in the distance and stuff. You feel like you're part of a bigger battle.
Oh yeah,
which was really cool.
It was times like that I realized I chose wrong when I joined the Marines. When I saw the Cobra coming over.
Oh, come on!
Yeah, and they're firing down with that Vulcan cannon of theirs, and it looks like a laser. They're firing so many rounds. You can't distinguish between the individual rounds. It's just chewing everything to bits.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there looking up going, yeah, I should be up there rather than down here. Those guys got it made. They're getting paid more. They get to ride around, shoot people in a helicopter. They don't get blown up. Like, I chose poorly. I gotta
Yeah.
try that out though. That sounds cool. Time for
But,
some flashbacks.
There you go. So I mean, it's really cool. And the thing about the first mission is you think, oh, it's going to be over in like 5-10 minutes. Oh no, I think it went on for like 40 something minutes because
Oh, really?
you go from one thing to the next. They're like, okay, scratch that. We're not going to go here. Now we got to go here. We got to do this. We got to do it. So you feel like you're literally slogging through a longer engagement, which I thought was really, really cool.
Well,
And then of course they have all the ones that we've done before, and they've added some other new ones as well.
That's very cool. Yeah, I downloaded the patch. I think I got 2 out of the 3 boys squared away to get online with me.
Mhm.
I couldn't find either of you 2 knuckleheads, and then one of them said, "Oh, I'm tired,
I'm not gonna do it, I'm tired."
or I'm gonna go play, wizard something, something with spells that fizzle." I don't know. So I just went.
Well, we'll have to do it this week. We'll do it Friday night. We'll get on and play some
That'd be cool.
6 days.
That's it. That's if Gimp's allowed to actually, get on and play
no, I'll get on.
on Friday night.
Nice.
Yeah, we're doing Thanksgiving tomorrow, so I should be free. We're not going like Black Friday shopping or anything. So
Cool.
So
Maybe a little
now
game
that
time.
we've ran all the digital stuff through the ringer, let's pass it back to Kev now. What have you been doing?
Me?
You haven't been doing computer games, so
No computer games. No. Let's see. So what was really, really surprisingly cool was Fall of Tobruk. So Chris Fawcett is a little bit of a cranky guy, right? Like he's not. He's kind of ornery, but he's a nice guy. Retired and living in an RV.
wait a minute.
traveling
Hold on. Kev Sharp saying someone's ornery?
Well, hold on.
Hot meat kettle.
I don't know the guy personally, but Kev's got a point because he's the one that I had the issues with on Facebook.
Mhm.
When I was trying
That
to
was that group. Yeah.
and he started. That was like the 3rd time he had kicked one of my videos off the group.
And he
Yeah.
put you in your place too. That was awesome.
No,
kinda
he's
does
sitting there
jump
saying,
the-
"Well, you
I'm
didn't
just-
say it was
I'm just
solitaire." And I'm
kidding.
like, 4 other posts, just the next 4 posts didn't say anything about solitaire or weren't even on topic. I'm like, you're not applying this shit equally. If
Because you were on
wanna-
his radar at that point.
you want to be
you
a
were on his
Nazi
last
about it,
nerve.
be a Nazi.
And he was
but-
ex-army, and he's ex-army, and you're a dinky Marine, so be quiet. Okay.
Well, Chubby and me need to have a 1-to-1 conversation, and this shit'll. I was hot. Like,
Oh, really? I didn't notice.
well, yeah, because I go all over to Kevin's Facebook page, and I'm like, well, Kevin likes to bitch, so I'm just going to bitch here. This seems like a good place to do it.
I don't bitch. I provide constructive criticism. There's a very big difference.
Oh, you bitch. And I that's what I like about you. Call shit out as you see it.
That's me. So anyway, getting back to Chris, I had tried Fall of Tobruk, messed around with the counters and tried to do a couple of combats and didn't really play a scenario because there really aren't any scenarios. It's just you either start on the 26th of May or the 27th of May, and then you play through this massive campaign. But I thought, you know what, let me just load up and let's go. And so I got into it, and I think I've mentioned this before, a year ago or whenever it came out. Great maps, great counters, a little bit of a challenge with the color distinction on the Italians and the Brits, but other than that, it's fine. But it's a really long game, number one, and so it sort of lacks looks like a learning scenario or an ability to kind of just get your feet wet. You're either in or you're not, type of thing.
Mhm.
But anyway, the combat system, the chit pool, and the way command and supply and all that sort of stuff work really came together, and I was just super impressed. I really felt like and so not only that, so within the combat system, you've got these concepts around stacking, around proficiency, and morale, and then obviously your combat factors and stuff like that. You had to have really well thought out attacks with really good combined arms. You had to choose when you're going to move or fight by stack of units, right? So you're restricted with your command points. You get a swagger command points per division or per brigade. You got to choose which stacks you're going to activate. So the downside is you tend to stack a lot of units and you end up with, maybe what I would call mega stacks, right? So you might have 4 or 5 counters stacked up, but super, super cool in the way that the combat all worked. It's basically Herman Luttman's combat system, updated it and adapted to World War II with an integrated air war and artillery resolution built into that same CRT. So you're looking at one table to solve all your combats, and then you'll roll off that. You know how Herman Luttman's game has like an odds table, and then you get a result, whether it's light, medium, or heavy.
Yeah.
And then you go down to the combat, the physical result, and then a retreat result, or the morale result, whatever it might be. So you roll another die there. And then you may have some morale effect going on after that. But anyway, so it all kind of came together. I was just really pleased with it. And so I've asked him if he can kind of work out a smaller scenario that I can play, because it's
too big.
30. Yeah, it's 30 or
63, wasn't it?
Yeah, 63 turns, 34 days or something like that. There's 2 turns at AM and a PM per day. And then there's a dawn and a dusk sort of admin activities. You've got to do a full air war in it, which I didn't really touch because it just added 150 counters I didn't need to dick with. But you can strafe airfields, and you can destroy airfields, and you can run CAS missions, you can run escort and air superiority missions. So it's got that whole overlay over the game, which was super cool. I just really felt like I was making choices that were going to make a difference, and I had to sequence my units correctly within a brigade to get them to, I'm going to move these guys up, then fight, and that's going to force a retreat. And then these other guys that are already adjacent, I'm going to fight with them, and then I'm going to move, and then I'm going to bring my other guys through an exploit, right? And there's not an exploit phase. You just going to say, that's what I'm going to do with those guys. So it was just real sort of operational maneuver warfare, and it got me going. It was cool.
Yeah, you were real excited about that. So I was like, I'm going to have to break that out at some point. I had talked to him about doing Learn to Play for it, but we just never could match up times. He was just like, I'm doing this, I can't do this.
It's not a hard game. The rules are pretty good. But
it would probably benefit people to see it.
Yeah,
all
really
come together.
How it all comes together. Yeah, it needs more of that and some better examples. Things that aren't explicitly stated that are kind of more implied, and so you got to do a little bit of digging. But overall, a better rule book than what I just finished with the other game I was playing. So I'd like probably one of the best games I've played this year, I would say. Yeah.
Wow.
I tracked it with Compass Games, but has it released yet? I know he was.
Yeah, it's out. Yeah, it's been out for like a year and a half, and Compass kind of, and
that's
me talking, right? I feel like they kind of dropped the ball marketing wise in terms of promoting it. And according to Chris, this is Chris's version of events, he got the game ready, was ready for a long time, and it sat for a couple of years. And then all of a sudden it was on Kickstarter and it was out, and I don't think it sold well. So I'm guessing that's
completely on Kickstarter. I didn't see it hit there at all.
Well, it's going back a year and a half or so too.
Yeah, it's a year and a half ago now, man. I mean, I recall I was living in the barn down
by the river.
Down by the river.
Down by the river. The van
down by the creek. Down by the creek.
Mo got it.
Anyway.
No, Compass, they should send out like a little email blast to, some reviewers or whatever. Hey, we're getting ready to do a Kickstarter on blah, 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 blah. If you want to mention it, just get the marketing out there, because it's impossible to keep track of everything.
Right. And
we're involved with it, and how much shit do we miss?
Right. And they're punching games out, every 2 months or so. So, and there's some really good stuff that's coming by. I'm tell you what, the last 2 games that I've played of Compasses have really reinforced my opinion that they've turned the quality corner, I guess, in terms of.
Are you talking about rule book quality or?
Yeah, finished product, right? Finished product. That's it's not 120 page tome, and it's not 16 pages of bullshit that needs another 15 pages of errata. It's just correct. Like Last Gamble was correct. There was, I don't think there's hardly any errata there. A few misses, bits and pieces here and there. And the Fall of Tobruk, it has very limited errata as well. And it's a consumable rule book. It's really not very big at all.
That's the thing, though. That word right there. It has to have both. Right. It can't just be good. It has to be consumable. If it's a freaking like college era textbook, and you just feel like you're slogging through it, beating it over your head, trying to learn it, that's not good either.
Yeah.
But they have improved since the Hearts and Minds days. Remember that one?
Well, Hearts and Minds, you have to remember there were 3 versions of that. They were the 3rd edition.
No, the one I got
Hearts and Minds from Compass. Hearts and Minds is the 3rd edition of that game.
Was it?
So
how was the rule book so bad? There were so many errors.
I don't know what was done between the different editions. I mean, how it was handled, I don't know. So
like the rule book and the example of play were just butchered. I liked the game. I thought the game was good. It had so many errors, especially like in the example of play when it came to like the solitaire. It was listing down the number of cards that you had to have in each different type of deck, and it was messing up the number of cards. And I'm like, look, I've got 18 cards, but it says I'm supposed to have 20, and then below it says it's supposed to have 15. Like, what are you talking about? I know they corrected it afterwards, but that one was one that was like, really, this should have been caught. I don't like to give you too much crap, but that one,
especially when you're on a 3rd edition.
Yeah. Especially if you are on that 3rd edition. Yeah.
Well, not them. The first 2, I believe, were Worthington, and then the 3rd edition was Compass.
Well, so by the 3rd edition, it should be
by the 3rd edition. Out. Yeah. I mean, the design team should have gotten it tighter by the 3rd edition.
And I think there's also 2 channels inside of Compass. There's the reprint channel, the deluxe edition reprint thing, which is just kind of it's a little bit more of a machine where they're taking basically a good game, maybe doing some errata, maybe fixing some things up, maybe cleaning up the counters and map and upgrading stuff like that. And then there's brand new designers or new designers or existing designers who have new titles. And that's a lot of the time that's where, well, actually that's not true because Korea was kind of a mess too with the counters, right? So, but anyway, there's 2 channels. I see it as 2 channels. Like a lot of the reboot stuff I'm super curious about, but it's more nostalgia value to me. And I'm not sure that I want to go spend the money to do that. I might just, not bother. Right. So.
Well, Mike says the same thing. He said marketing is such a hit or miss with some publishers, and it's true. It also depends on the games they're marketing too. I mean, like you look at Legion and Compass and
Legion needs to get out there more.
They do. They absolutely do. MMP is another one you've talked about numerous times, Nate.
MMP just does not want to work with anyone.
Yeah, well, they're happy with what they've got. I don't think they need to try to push for a wider audience, or they want to push for a wider audience. I think they're happy with their built-in audience because they know they've got an evergreen product with ASL. They have the people that
built-in audience will die if they don't market it. Eventually, your core group of customers ages.
Oh, geez! Now here we go. The graying of ASL, bullshit. The graying of.
No, I'm not saying the hobby's graying. You get plenty of younger people coming in, but you do have to do at least a base level of marketing just to maintain a customer base, right?
Well, I think they kind of self. I think they kind of self-fulfill, right? I mean, they've got their core. Let's call it 1,500 people that buy OCS and whatever, and then ASL is probably bigger. It's probably 4,000 or 5,000. Is it maybe something like that? I don't know. Maybe it's 20,000, but it's certainly not doing 20,000 unit print runs on ASL. So they've got some small number of thousands, and it's good enough. And let's say 1% of those die a year. There's probably 1% or more new guys coming in to play, and I think it all kind of comes out in the wash. But
more than 1%.
It definitely does. But no, it's because remember, this has been a complaint for decades.
Forever.
The graying of the hobby, it's going to die off. It never does. It never does.
Never does. And I think also you get that the out of print thing is what pisses people off. I think.
Yeah.
More than anything, it's not
You're-
necessarily just that it's that they don't do marketing. It's just they don't care. It's like, oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
out of print. Fuck
Yeah,
it.
we're gonna
No,
punch
you know,
2,000. We're gonna
when you're
punch
talking
2,000
about
of
them
this
not having-
ASL, and it sells out in a day or two.
I was going to mention this, seeing Fabrizio here, he has got to do a bigger print run because there is absolutely a market for his games. People love it. And I hate seeing Noble Knight selling his game for $1,000. Are you out of your mind?
It's Noble Knight for you.
Are you insane? That's not even greed. That's just insulting. Right.
Yeah.
And
Dishonorable
understand-
squad is what you should call him at that point. Definitely not a Noble Knight.
There's obviously people out there who want, 1985 Under an Iron Sky and others. I'm not saying he needs to like double or triple his print runs, but add an extra little buffer in there so people aren't faced with that level
Which
of.
would be like a double or tripling the print run, which is what you said you didn't say, but you really did.
No, he needs to do more. I think he could easily sell double at least what he's doing
Yeah,
now.
but here's the thing though. He's paying for it all and
Yeah.
producing it all up front, right? So
Here's the answer. Crowdfunding. Put it in
well, I
Kickstarter.
mean, yeah, he could, but
Have the game done and be ready to print. And instead of putting the capital in himself, say, listen, we're going to do things differently this time. Instead of me putting all the capital up,
Yeah.
I'm going to ask for the community to do it. And we're going to do it through crowdsourcing, whether it's GameFound, Kickstarter, whatever.
I just don't know if he's going to get that volume though. I mean, he does what, 750 or 1,000 copies, and
he could easily do that though with using Kickstarter.
Yeah,
And
I'd
even-
advertise for him.
Yeah,
and
we'd
give
all
Kicks-
would. I
give
mean,
Kickstarter 30%, right? So right, this
I mean,
this way
something
reach
to
all of it.
prevent this. I mean, I know Noble Knight's the exception. I just hate seeing some of the stuff they've done. I've actually messaged them before because they'd have a game listed for
you
like
shady bastards,
$200.
why are you charging so much?
I called them out. I'm like, why do you have a product listed on your page for $200 when I can go buy it brand new from the website for $80?
Because they're counting on the person not going to the website and looking.
And I'm like, that's ridiculous. That's dishonest. I'm like, you need to adjust
Capitalism.
your books.
It's
That's
capitalism.
not capitalism. That's
It's
asshole.
capitalism.
It's assholism.
I'm
The
gonna
Nordic-
but it's capitalism because it's like, hey, you want this? I got this for $1,000. Sell it here right now for $1,000. You want it? I know you want it. It's out of print.
Yep.
Actually,
Well-
it's not. You can go over here and buy it for $75, but
Maybe
you
I
gotta
just
listen
like
to
being able to sleep at night with,
Well, look.
Feeling good about myself.
I'm not saying you're wrong.
What did Sacred Oil cost? $200, $220, $210, something like that.
retail, like when it first
Yeah.
came out.
Yeah,
Fabrizio,
It
what
was
was it?
200-ish, 180.
Yeah.
I think it's
Yeah,
So I mean,
180
what-
220, it's in that
so
range.
I've got a second copy, right? Because he gave me a copy. I'm going to sell it for $300. I'm not going to feel bad about it.
No, I think $300 is a perfectly reasonable markup.
I'm wringing my hands, clutching my pearls.
Oh, okay, $400.
No, $400 be about the top.
Yeah,
end.
but so my point about this stuff being out of print, coming back to MMP, and I think some dude here said MMP is a destination, not a publishing company. I would probably disagree with that, but whatever. I took some pictures today, and I was going to sell some of my BCS titles. And I was looking up the prices online. I thought I was going to put them up for like $70 or whatever.
No, they're probably like double
whatever.
that.
They're $150, $160 a pop.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah.
this game's just not really worth that much money. I wouldn't pay that. But people,
Well, I got like
people
Brazen
look at-
Chariots that I'm gonna sell, and that's going for like 140, 150 bucks.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
okay, that's what the market is.
That's what the
is
market is. It is
going,
what it is.
yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, and,
But I'm not going to
it
charge
is Christmas time. He is right. Christmas time prices, fluctuate a little bit, but I hate it. I had the opposite of Kevin. Some of the games I was looking up, I was seeing on eBay for like 20, and I'm like, seriously? Like that's the problem I'm going to run into. I don't want the low cost ones, but I don't want to sell my good ones. I've got a few I know that I could sell for a chunk, but I don't want to get rid of them. Leathernecks. I've got Leathernecks and the expansion for it. The expansion is unopened.
Mm.
And I know I could make a penny off of that one, but I refuse to sell it. You can't find that thing anywhere.
Well,
No, you
Nordic
can't.
says he's never heard or seen one of your rants. The floor is yours after Kev's done. Epic rant time. So,
I usually do my rants in like a video if someone pisses me off.
yeah.
Okay,
because the last thing I want to do is sit here and listen to you rant.
As a sidebar, there was a company I bought something from off of eBay, and they listed their
here we
product
go.
down as new, and they didn't. They sent me an open boxed item, and
Yeah.
I was pissed off about it. So I returned it, and I called them out on it. I'm like, you cannot sell an open boxed item as new. That's wrong. You're lying to people. And they started getting into me, and I had taken pictures of their listing. And they went back and they changed their listing, and they changed a few other listings to just say the word used on it. And I'm like, you're going back and changing your listing and lying about it. You think I didn't take pictures of it originally? And we got in a whole huge argument. They ended up blocking me. They fought the negative review that I gave them off of eBay. And I'm like, okay, if you want to do it that way, then I'll just make a video about you. And I put up their name, Chaos Arc. Never buy Chaos Arc off of eBay. They'll lie and cheat and steal you. But it's like, screw it. I'll do a couple of videos on these guys, see if I can cost them enough business, because screw them. That's where I rant. I don't rant here.
No, he
Here's
does. You do. You do. We
You
all
just
rant
did.
from time to time. You just did. Exactly.
I gave a story. I gave an example. That wasn't a rant. If I was ranting, I'd be a lot madder.
And Nordic says he's got Brazen Chariots, but his counters are clipped like an amateur as it was his first game he clipped. Not overly bad, though.
Oops. Yeah, and look, and I'm selling these games not because I don't like them. I'm selling them because I'm done with them. I've played all of them multiple times, and I have a closet in my bathroom that's supposed to be for linens that is full of like 150 games that I need to get rid of. Not that there's any pressure here from anyone for that to happen, but I need to get rid of
I
some
like
stuff.
that. Stuka Joe. Noble knife.
Yeah, that's
job,
good.
Stupid.
Love it.
No, you
So,
got
I mean-
kids, man. That's their inheritance right there. You sell that shit and tuck it to the side for. They're
I sell
waiting.
that shit and buy more games is what I do.
So I'm catching up on the chat. I'm a little behind. Nordic was saying, "Oh, here we go. I got Gimpy wound up. He's going to get going." But yeah, no, I'm running. I'm literally running out of space.
Yeah,
in
same
the
here.
house I'm
Yeah.
in now, so I'm gonna have to make some room, and I'm just gonna be like, you know what? I got Aracourt. I think that'll probably be smaller, easier for me to
Yep.
check out BCS.
Yep.
So I'm just gonna move out things that I already have something else that I can use whenever I get around to BCS.
Yep.
And I kind of go back and forth on wanting to learn BCS. It sounds cool, but at the same time, I'm like, because I know OCS. I have one or two OCS titles. I know I got Korea. I can't remember if I got something else. I'm
They've
gonna
got
keep
three,
Korea.
right? OCS, BCS, and SCS, right?
Yeah,
And TCS.
they have TCS
I
also.
haven't even
Yeah.
heard of TCS.
That's
Platoon
tactical
scale.
combat.
You love it.
Yeah.
They got 2 Marine modules.
Yeah.
Trump craziness syndrome.
No, it's TDS. But no, the TCS is that's tactical combat system. That is where
Yeah.
you draw up battle
Yeah.
plans and all that stuff. So I've not yet dug into it. I've looked at it a couple times. I've just not sat down with it yet. And it does look really, really cool. Kev's done several videos on it, talked about it
One of
quite
my
often,
favorites. Yeah.
and he loves it. So it's definitely something to check out.
VCS. Do you know
Italian
VCS?
combat.
Yeah, that's not really. I mean,
I haven't heard that one either.
kind
See,
of.
that's what I'm talking
sort
about.
of-
They don't. No publicity, no marketing. They need to get out there. They need to talk. I've always said it. I
Who?
told you.
MMP?
Yeah, MMP. They need to have
You're
someone.
really hammering this tonight.
I do. I
We
mentioned
wanted them to
you
spin up and do a
more than
rant.
once.
Here we go.
Or I mentioned you to them, rather. Excuse me. Flip side of that, because I told you my buddy works for MMP, and I've told him more than once. I was like, "You really should talk to my boy Kev. He plays the games all the time. He's filming them all the time. You guys should be endorsing him." And he's put in the word, but the powers that be there just do not want it. So
Put a word in. Yeah, we know that.
no, my buddy, he owns my local game shop that I go to all the
Right.
time.
Right.
So I
They
was,
don't play nice. They don't play nice with distribution either. So that's a thing.
I
Mark,
just
it was
think
great meeting you too.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh yeah, you guys went to the Compass Expo thingy. Mo did.
Yep.
Did.
Yeah, you need to give us a rundown on that in a sec. I've got 32 videos on TCS on my channel.
32. Damn.
Yeah.
How was it with the Bills? Billy, and
That
That was
Bill.
Expo was great. I mean, it was a lot of fun. There was a lot of great gaming going on. They had a giant, Kev would have loved this, a giant version of The Last Gamble there. The counters were like acrylic blocks that had stickers on them. They were like white,
that'd be cool.
opaque acrylic blocks that had stickers on them.
Oh, that's
That was, so it was really nice, especially if when you're looking across the giant map, you can see everything. And
I'm assuming it was an
pretty impressive.
ongoing game.
Yeah, that went on. They had the same group there pretty much the entire weekend playing it. And I was like, I kind of wanted to dip into it, but I was like, no, this is going to be, I could see right away that this was an entire weekend thing for these people. And I was like, I'm not going to cut in for a couple hours. That kind of would be foolish. So I let Rich do his thing because he was running it. Danny wasn't there. Rich was running it the whole time. Rich Hoffman, the guy I worked with on the Learn to Play videos for that.
Oh yeah.
And that was, he did a great job with teaching that. John Southard was there. He was teaching Grant, and he was also teaching Carrier, or Carrier Battles Philippine Sea.
What's John Southard like?
He's a nice guy. I did not get a chance to talk to him. I went to chat with him, said, hey, how's it going, John? He shook my hand and was shaking all these other people's hand at the same time. I was like, everybody's pulling him in 4 different directions. I was like, I'll catch him later. Yeah. And later, I didn't get to see him. He was gone. I don't know if he had left at that point or what, but he might have just come in for the day and then took off. So we were doing, it was doing that. And then there's a new game that literally Greg just thought up a few weeks before.
I'm assuming you mean
Trump's Expo. Of course.
Yeah.
The cyborg of game design, and it was a rifle team or rifle platoon. And I said to him, oh, yeah. He just, yeah, it's really cool. It's about the D-Day invasion. I was like, yeah, well, you need Marines too. So I texted him. I was like, you need Marines too. So he texted me back a little while later. He's like, okay, here you go. I got your Marines set up. So he did. He created like a Marine rifle team and all that stuff, rifle platoon.
Is it kind of like Ambush?
It's different. It's really cool because I think it's going to be very accessible to people. It's basically you have a sheet with your squads on it. You have 3 squads, and you have your platoon leader. And this is the initial stages. It was literally just, he put this design together like maybe 3 to 4 weeks before Expo. That's how new it was. What you do is you sit down and you pull tiles. It's like a 5x5 grid, a 5x6 grid, I think it is, of hexes all in rows. You draw tiles and you put them in place. You just randomly put them out on the board. You create a new map each time. You start at the bottom, the enemies or the objective is at the top, and you work your way across. And you have to coordinate fires, and depending on where your units are based on where your platoon leader is, you got to send runners back and forth along the line to be able to pass, information along. Because this is World War II. Not everybody has radios. So you can't have that ease of communication that you can have in today's modern military. So you work your way across, and he gives me the first mission. He goes afterwards. He goes, yeah, I really probably shouldn't have done this to you, but I did anyway. He had me taking on 3 pillboxes along the top, and I was like, okay, yeah, this is brutal. It's going to be fun though. But I brought a Zippo with me, so I was all excited. They used a flamethrower and to take it out, but I got, pretty depleted by the time we got to the end of the mission, but I did take out the 3 pillboxes, won the mission. We learned a lot of things from playing through it. And I was like, so excited about the game afterwards. I sat down and just wrote 2 pages front and back and notes, ideas and things like that for him. And the next day I says, hey, I got some ideas for it. I pulled out my notebook and I showed him. He's just threw his head back laughing. He's like, you're out of control, dude. He goes, you just played it one time and look at all these ideas you got. And then he was reading them going, wow, that's a really good idea. We could do this. Yeah, that's a good idea too. He was excited about it too. So it was neat to get the feedback, I think, and get someone else's excitement over it when it's just a brand new idea, that he just come up with.
Yeah.
And I said to him, you could make this, very easily, this could be rifle platoon Normandy, rifle platoon Iwo Jima, rifle platoon Stalingrad, whatever. You can put anything on it you want.
Yeah,
And
Africa, all sorts.
Africa, yeah, you can even bring it into Vietnam, Korea, Vietnam, modern. It could be. It's endless the possibilities. And it's basically, I said, this could be like Compass's very condensed version of Warfighter, but
Right.
a lot
So you're
more.
not going across a map?
You're going across a map. You're not going across cards like you do in Warfighter. You're going across a map that you create at the beginning of it by pulling
Hexes,
tiles.
area, square, what?
Hexes. They're all hexes, but you put tiles on them. That's what that's how he has it designed right now. Tiles.
You don't get to find bazooka ammo cache right next to the bunker you're about to blow up. Like in
none of that stuff. There's none of that. Oh, look at the perk I just got. Look at my.
Oh my gosh!
Got a
I
care
found this
package.
ammo here.
I got my kill streak. Look at it. Yeah, it's
Whoa.
like now. So you basically you fight what you brung, and you better your guys are going to get depleted. They're gonna start breaking and things like that, which is pretty cool. And you will run out of ammo. You have satchel charges. You got grenades. You've got mortars, things like that you can use. And I even said to him, you have 3 platoons already. Add a 4th, and that'll be your heavy weapons platoon. You can add that for certain situations. And I said, there's a lot of ideas you can do with this. You can make the tiles double-sided, and one side's A, one side's B, and you can just say, for this scenario, as you pull them out, use only the A side tiles. Use the B side tiles,
Right.
or alternate by rows. A's, B's, A's, B's.
Or suffer an artillery barrage, and then you flip the counter over, and it's got craters on it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, you can do stuff like that too. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things you can do with it, a lot of possibilities, and I think it's one of those games that you can easily learn and just sit down and start playing, and you can knock a mission out in, well, you can get done in 30 minutes and die, or you can be, maybe go a little bit longer, but they're all going to be, I think, short missions, and you can knock out a few in an evening and, just get XP and build your
old versions and all sorts of stuff. Yeah, you just will do that forever.
I think it's really, it's brand new, and I'm like super excited about the possibilities for it.
Yeah, but we're not going to see that for a couple of years, probably.
Pillboxes in a Zippo, what can go wrong? Yeah, well, that was the thing about the Zippo too, is you can get hit, and you can go up in flame, and so can your squad mates too. So it definitely has a bad aspect to it too. There's danger to it. So that is a really cool thing as well. And so I played that, really was interested in that. And he had all the Tide games where they're Insurgent Tide, Rebel Tide, all those games were being looked at and played. Sat down and I got to play Air and Armor with Bruce and 2 other players. And we played that. And that was, we took a couple of breaks for lunch and dinner. It probably went for about 9-10 hours. And it was I can't remember the name of the scenario now. It'll come back to me, but basically both sides of Pact and NATO are going across the map, and you want to take over you want to get through the center. You have to have more hexes than the other under your control. And the whole key is whoever controls Schweinfurt really is the linchpin for that road. So if you can control that and get in there, you're hard to root out of there. And as we were playing, I wasn't reading he says, I'll read the scenario thing. So I'm reading the scenario. Okay, this is what we got to do. Okay, boom. I ignored reading the rest of it where he says, oh, you got to get in the Schweinfurt first and stuff. So we were the Pact and he was NATO. Well, the one thing I was thinking, I also missed one other thing that he mentioned. And late in the game, I was like, okay, yeah, cool. He's moving. I can't believe he's doing this. I'm saying to my teammate, I'm like, I can't believe he's doing that. There was an empty hex, and then he had 4 units around that empty hex. I was like, really? You really want to do that, Bruce? He's like, yeah, why? I said, oh, no reason. Just, wanted to see if you're going to do this or not. And he's like, yeah, why? And I said, because I'm going to drop chem on you. And he's like, oh, no, you didn't hear what I said at the beginning. No chemical, no optional rolls. I was like, damn it. I was like, that was so perfect. He set it up, and I was like, I can't believe he did that. And then he said, oh, no chem. I was like, okay, because I was going to just drop the chem on him right there, because I was like, that's going to contaminate all of them, and that's going to take 4 stacks out right there, even though probably only one of them is got has strength under it.
Yeah,
One or
sure.
two of them.
Yeah.
But still, I was like, there's one unit I could take out pretty quick. And he's like, that would have been perfect though, Mo, but we're not playing with chemicals. I was like, damn it. But it was a lot of fun and really dug it. Really had a good time with it. And the two other guys that played, I think it was their first time playing it. So everybody picked up on it real easy. Plus it's really easy to play any game when you're playing it with the designer who can explain everything to you on the fly.
Well,
You know,
that
and
depends on
Bruce
the
is-
designer.
That's true. But Bruce is a really good teacher as well as a good player with his game. So he's fun to play with because he can explain to you the rule and he can give you the reasoning behind the rule, what he's, the reason why he did it that way, and then explain it to you and then walk you through it, and then as you go along, you'll start picking it up yourself, understanding the combat and stuff like that. Because combat in that is a little wonky for people to get the first time
Yeah, it's
they play
different.
it.
You see,
Yeah,
War
because-
Diary had a really good release of Claire Conzelman.
Konzelman, yeah. His house rules.
Did his house rules. They were actually really quite clever. So I'm gonna try and use those when I sign
Yeah.
up for that.
That's why when he had posted, I said, Claire, you do house rules? I never do. Because he does it in every war
Every
diary. He's got Khan's house rules. And that's what I was like, I didn't know that, and I had a little smiley face next to it going, everybody knows he does those if you read War Diary. And if you don't read War Diary, you're wrong. You need to read it.
Yeah,
It's a great
best
magazine.
war game magazine out there. It's great.
It is. Absolutely. Oh, look who's here. Sexy Hexy. Didn't even catch on that he was here yet. He did say, hey, Kev.
Just
Evening
Kev,
to everybody.
ignoring me and Mo.
Well, he said, evening, gentlemen. Hey, Kev. So take from
Well,
that what you will.
That's accurate. We're gentlemen, and then Kev separately.
Thank you.
So we did that. And
Did they
then
have
of
any,
course, they had
New
great
stuff?
sales.
Any?
What's that?
I gotta ask. I'm curious. Did they have Contact Now there? Is that one coming out?
2026 now. And didn't you see the new update in the catalog?
Is it 2026?
Yeah, they pushed it back another year. I think they're probably just no, never mind.
Really got to take a pool on that one.
All I remember is in 2020 or 2018, having discussions with him about that, and it could be published now.
It's ready to go.
Yeah. Okay. Give me your rules. I'll edit them. And
2022. Yeah, well, I've got to do the tank rules.
yeah.
What?
So I don't know what's going on with that. As far as I'm not
I just
familiar
don't
with what's going
Steve.
on.
I think he's just a guy who starts things and doesn't finish much.
Hmm.
So it is what it is.
How about British Tank Ace? I'm really looking forward to that one coming out.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, that's coming out. Didn't see it there. I mean, we didn't play it. He probably had a prototype for it because he goes there with like, I don't know, 87, 88 prototypes. He goes in with so many, it's not even funny.
Did you play the
just-
Gladiator game? Has that evolved much?
Which one?
The Gladiator game?
Not this time. I didn't play it, but I played that several times.
Yeah.
When we played it in Dallas, and then of course last year at Expo as well. It seems to, I think he's done some refining to it, but not anything different than what we saw. For the most part, what we saw is the game. They did add animals now. There's going to be animals in there, so you're going to have lions and things like that that'll be in the arena with you. And then of course you can have, the different types of combat. And I was saying they should have, I think he did go with it because I was saying that there should be like a free for all as well, not just one-on-one.
Right.
Make it like four gladiators in there,
Oh, that'd be cool.
which I think it would be pretty chaotic and pretty awesome at the same time.
Yeah.
I wonder how that would compare to Lock and Load's Coliseum game. Remember they
Which-
got an old one, Heroes of the Coliseum.
Yeah, that was from 2 Hour War Games originally.
Yeah, I mean it's old. I got a copy of it tucked on my
Mhm.
shelf somewhere, but I haven't ever actually sat down and played it.
Yeah.
When Compass releases theirs, I might have to do a comparison of the two.
Well, we do have a pretty good assessment already from Hex. So, which is the excellent topic? Which excellent topic do we need to talk about?
Uh,
Like saying, contact not now.
Oh,
Contact.
so
Don't
wrong.
call us. We'll call you.
oh, that should be-
Oh,
Oh,
1-800, not now.
Honestly, after everything, I kind of want to see it get made just to see it actually in a box.
No, dude, it's so ordinary.
I mean, it's 20 years in the making now.
20 plus.
This was 30 years in the making.
Whoa. Okay.
Is that the
Now-
one you were saying wasn't good?
Yeah. So
What happened?
Everything.
talk about it
Bad rule book.
in a nutshell.
So,
if you can go.
so look, Peter Perler, who's now deceased, has made, I think, maybe 4 or 5 war games. Got all excited about the old SBI. This is before you were born, Gimpy, so bear with me. The old SBI game Grenadiers, and he wanted to adapt that for Napoleonics and all sort of stuff. So that's what this little love project is. But then he mashed in the Kriegspiel system, which is from before all of our times, the 1800s, and well, whatever it was, 1850s or 60s or whatever it was, when they would play war games with the blocks and stuff.
Mhm.
And this is supposed to be one little portion of the Battle of Austerlitz, and it's 125-foot hexes, 2-minute turns, two 22 by 34-inch maps, and about 100 counters. So I have absolutely no fucking idea what you're going to do across all that space, with basically 3 brigades per side. But nevertheless, you have 90 turns to do that in, which is 180 minutes, ostensibly.
I was going to say, tell me it's not a 72-hour battle.
Right.
At 2 minutes a turn.
And it's a shit show. It's 16 pages of just badness. I posted a whole bunch of little 1-minute videos because it kind of just got comical. The combat system is kind of interesting, but everything else around it and how it all works, every unit, every turn you want to move, you've got to roll a die. And if it says attack, you can either withdraw, hold, or attack. If it says attack, that unit has to move towards the enemy as fast as it can and attack. So there goes your agency as a player. You have no choice in the matter. If it's hold, which is an odd term to use, but hold, then you can move at your normal rate or your slow rate and approach the enemy.
So hold means move.
Yeah, or stay. You have a choice. And so, you're shooting muskets 2 or 3 hexes because it's 125 feet, right? So 2 hexes would be about 83 yards or something like that, I've worked out. So, which is kind of like the range of a musket, effectively 100 yards. And so it's just fucking... And the scenario, so the first scenario I set up, you've got 20 turns to get 2 units off the board as the French are coming on. Their movement rate, if they move at their fastest rate, which you've got to move towards the enemy. So let's say it's half the rate, you get the normal movement rate. In 4 turns, you can be off the map and the game's over. So I was just sitting here like laughing, going, weird. Combat system, kind of interesting. The command system, kind of interesting. But there's this massive set of maps and no counters, and the artwork's horrible, and the rule book is a shit show. And just, there you go. That's my review. Gave it a 3 on BGG.
Wow.
Who published it?
I'm Clueless Publishing. Oh, no, Canvas Temple Publishing. They're now going out of business, so we don't have to worry about them anymore. And that's kind of why I bought this, because it was one of 4 copies left, and I'd seen the Kickstarter. There is no way this is an $80 game. I paid $60 for it, and I feel like I just got ripped off, right? Just great box art, and that's about the end of it. It's got very limited redeeming features other than
So
that.
what? 2 maps, 1 sheet of counters, a rule
One-
book.
Yeah, a rule book, a player's aid, a very 8-page scenario book, and some demoralization bullshit chart, and that's it. Yeah, just
Yeah.
it's just stunning.
That's sad, but I mean, I guess
Yeah,
you know
I mean,
why they're going out of business.
Well, the guy who's running it has his own personal issues about why he's going out of business, but I kind of feel like it was Perla's swan song, and they just kind of wanted to get it done. It feels like it's not finished. Mark Herman chimed in and rewrote the close combat rules, and that's been added to the errata, which is errata and FAQ is 11 pages.
Wow.
So
There are no
almost
examples of
another
play.
rule book.
No examples of play whatsoever in the game. No
Damn.
designer notes. No in within the rules.
You got a new term. You got Pratzins.
I got practice. Yeah. Yeah. So, I wanted to find something good about the game. So I kept trying, and it's just, there's not much there.
Well, sometimes you can't find something good about a game.
Yeah.
I
So there you go. There's a Kev rant for you.
That's not a rant. That's just factual
That's just
opinion.
stating the facts.
Yeah.
You're probably right. They probably kicked it out the door when they got it as close enough. They hit good enough and said, screw it. It's
Which is a
unfortunate
shame.
that's going to be their swan
Yeah.
song, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
There's too many other
So-
good games out there to occupy our time to be worried about that one.
Yeah, exactly. I think if I do a top 5 worst games, it'll be number 1 this year. But I'm looking at, I played so many good games this year, like the SAS Regiment, Rogue Regiment. That was a great game this year. So
You know, they're almost done with their campaign
Who,
for
what?
the expansion.
Oh, I need to get that. I need to do that.
Yeah, it's called Operation Gain. I did a quick update video on that one, but
Nice.
it's either ended or it's close to ending. But they're doing an expansion for it. Well worth getting. If you guys haven't got it, SAS Rogue Regiment is excellent, phenomenal. I love the game. It's probably my top for this year.
Oh, really? Yeah, I wouldn't go that far, but it's a good game.
Well, it's either that or Maladam, but I didn't
I don't
expect
know
you to
what that
be
is.
into, you know.
Well, here's what I like about Rogue Regiment is that it's not just a smash and crash skirmish game, man-on-man game. You've got to use subtlety, and you've got to sneak around, and you've got to decide if you're going to knife the guy or shoot the guy, and then you got to go, rescue dudes or blow stuff up, and
You got to hide the bodies.
you got to hide the bodies, and it's super cheesy and very light, but it's narrative rich and it's fun. I mean, it's just fun.
The card mechanic, the way you basically set a timer for your explosives by putting the explosive card that far down on the deck, like, hey, I wanted to go it off, 10 turns from now, whatever, and you put the card there. I just think that's wholly thematic, and it works so well with the game.
Yes.
Someone is talking to him. I know I spoke to the publishers on this one, of trying to come up with some house rules or an extra that's going to be added to basically have like the sticky sock from
Nice.
I'm brain farting the movie
Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah, so like if an enemy vehicle's driving by,
Sticky
your guy
bombs.
can hit it with the sticky sock, and then it drives around and blows up the road. But you're right, it's just cheesy fun. It's Commando.
It's Hollywood. It's a Hollywood movie. But you still have to think, and it's very tactical in the way you approach it, which is what
Yes.
which is what draws you in, because you really feel like you're down on the ground. And like I had said this as well, that it reminds me of when you guys were talking about it, the old computer game Commandos, which is exactly what you had to do with your commandos. You had to move them around. You had to be very stealthy as the Germans were patrolling the area and stuff, and they had to take them out quietly, hide the body, the whole 9 yards. Same thing you got to do here with this, but this is like the board game version, which definitely sounds really interesting. So I've got to see if I can find a copy of that out. And Joe talks about Pratzen a little bit more. He says, good thing they didn't send a copy to Wayne Hansen.
Yeah. Yeah, that one might have got chucked in the bin.
Yeah, it might have got burned and thrown in the garbage. But you
Yeah,
know, and
44
Christoph
hours
said
left.
44 hours, 19 minutes left in the Kickstarter.
Yeah, I just tagged it, just got it. Now Mo, you can get both of them. I think. What is Allied Assault what I bought? What you gave me?
No, get the black box.
Get the black box. No,
There's a black box version
Back
that
in black.
has the core game and all the expansions and all the stretch goals.
Oh, okay. Well, that's what Mo needs. I need just the veteran version.
Yeah, you just need the expansion.
So
Look, they're both like
November 2025. Oof,
Oh, that's a year away, dude.
that's a year
Wow.
away. Yeah,
time flies when you're old.
it does.
Blinking.
It does. It does. Time does fly. But I'm actually gonna try and take a look and see if anybody has a copy of it now for Black Friday, and see if I can get a copy of it now rather than waiting a year.
It
to
was
get the
on
whole thing.
Amazon for like $60.
Is it still there? I wonder.
A
Let
lot
me
of people were
see.
asking me if they could buy it retail. Amazon had it there for good price. I was surprised they were selling it that cheap. It was like $60, but that was the core set.
$65.
Yep.
And they've got hot dogs and Jaeger and heavy metal expansions for $22 each. Yeah, only knocking
This
it
is-
down $5.
This expansion has aircraft. That is cool. Okay,
Nice.
that's super geeky.
Well, the black box version has the Typhoon in it, the British Typhoon.
Mhm.
So you can call in the airstrike. So you'll have the actual little cardboard cutout you can place on the board, and it'll go up and hit so many squares as it's going across the street. So you can call in the airstrike using that.
Christoph said he had it on his table for a month straight, and it'll be back
Wow.
on his table soon. Well, I do
It's-
have one
it's
that I'm putting
phenomenal.
up on the table. I'm going to try to get on the table this weekend, and that is something totally different. Well, not totally different, but very different, which is Purple Haze. So I'm going to try to see if I can get
What is it?
Purple Haze. So I'm going to try to get
Okay, yeah.
one or two of those things going, because I got that in, and I've just not sat down with it yet because I'm almost done now with all the video stuff that I got to get done. I've got one that I just have to wrap up for the next Learn to Play is going to be Grant, and that will be releasing next week. And then I'm waiting for the remainder of the edits from Bruce, and then Aaron Armour will be released. Those 60 videos will finally be released. So
Better
the Aaron
you
Armour
than me.
Academy is finally going to see the light of day.
I am not going to say it.
And it's
Yeah,
just
Purple
been-
Haze is narrative though, isn't it?
it's narrative. There's some tactical elements to it, but it's more of an experience game than anything else. I think
Yeah.
you have to make some tactical decisions and stuff. But the thing that's cool about it is you got to make these decisions and you got to live with them, because there's no take back season do-overs and stuff. You got to,
Right.
whatever happens.
Right.
You lose Marines and stuff. You're going to have to get replacements. And I think for what it's trying to do, I think it's going to be really, really good, because I played the preview copy, the prototype a few years ago.
That's Phalanx, right?
Yes. And I really dug what they were doing with it, and they've expanded it a little bit more since that time. And I just thought it was really cool what they're aiming for. It has war game aspects to it, but it's more of it's almost like an RPG light kind of,
Right.
and a war game kind of mixed together. It's this weird blend, but I think it's going to be a really cool experience game. And
Yeah, I'm curious about it because actually I saw a guy got a copy delivered and the box was smashed to pieces.
ooh,
Oh
not
no.
good.
Yeah, I said to him, I said, look, I'll you ship it to me, I'll take it off your hands and you get your replacement copy, and I'll give him some money for it, so he's not out. But he's gonna try and get a replacement copy, and hopefully he will respond. I haven't looked to see if he responded actually.
And
I will
speaking
have
of
to-
which,
Be playing
Whoa.
some Vietnam era music.
I gotta say, thanks to you, this was my, I guess you could say, apology gift from Volca. Because remember last time we were
Mhm.
talking about it, and I was like, yeah, they hate me. They hate me for getting it.
Listen,
They must have
listen.
watched.
First off, it's VUCA, not
VUCA.
VUCA. Those are some good VUCAs. Let me tell you that.
No,
No,
they
VUCA.
they did reach out, and we made peace and everything. Everything was good. just had missed touching base, and they're like, oh, since you like crossing the line so much, here's the next one in the series. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna be covering that one soon. I really did like Crossing the Line, though. It was really good. I like the command system in that, so I'm definitely looking forward to giving this one a shot. This is in North Africa.
Yep. And you like throwing dice too, so that's good because there's a lot of that.
Yes, definitely a lot of dice in that system, and that's not to harp on it, but I would like to see, and I've never considered it further about how to expedite choosing units and giving command points to those, or what do they call, not command points? I think it's command points. Yeah,
it's command points.
Action points.
Action points that you give to the units. I'd like to see that done a little faster, and maybe even stack them ahead of time if possible. Maybe like 2 instead of just, okay, well, I get this guy and I get this guy. Although that does take away some of the fun of it because you don't know what you're going to be able to do. If you had 2 or 3, then you could plan, you can stack your orders ahead of time as to what you want it to do. And I do like the fact that they're keeping you on your toes the whole time. You don't know, it's variable. You may only get 2, you may get 9. You don't know.
Yeah. But it kind of
like
accurately correlates that the more you use that formation, the more they're engaged, the lower they're going to go down on the formation activation, and the less actual action points you're going to get. You might get lucky and get a boost right there at the end, but more than likely, the odds aren't going to be in your favor. You're going to get less points as they wear out. And it was variable too, which I liked. So it wasn't the exact same for each side. The Americans got a set number of points, whereas the Germans was variable depending on the amount of air cover.
I have to say that I think, just as a suggestion, this is one of the war games that I would really like to see someone come up with an app for, where you had, okay, it's this game, you're playing this scenario, and then it knows what units are ready because it's in the app, and you just press the button, boom. Okay, this unit activates, you get 6 points. Okay, we're going to do them again. Yeah. Boom. Okay, that unit, he gets 7 points. This one good. What? So that way you just hit one touch.
That much time though. It's not.
It adds up because when you're rolling dice, you're looking at the chart. It does add up. It's only maybe 10 seconds, but when you think about it over the course of that long game, I think could expedite it if you could have an app. I think it would expedite things quite a bit.
It's 1,100 die rolls just for the command points to play the game.
I mean, I think the system, I love the combat. Absolutely love the combat.
Combat's awesome. Love it.
It's
love
great.
it. Yep. Like the bits. The bits are good. Rule book is good. Everything else is good.
Oh, everything is great. It's just that one thing that I'm hung up on. Maybe it's me. I don't know. Maybe it's Kev. I don't know.
The armored vehicles, the way that they're represented in the game, they are more of a modifier for it versus being actual combat factors. You had more combat factors in the infantry or the mechanized versus the armored unit might only have a combat factor of 1, but it's got like 10 or 15 anti-tank points. So it gives this massive swing, but it can't take a huge amount of hits because it's a single tank, right? So it can't take huge. So many aspects of the game work really well.
That's cool.
I think the system's really good. I don't mind rolling the dice, so it doesn't bother me.
Yeah, I mean, you love dice.
Yeah, I got dice everywhere, man.
And it's very solo friendly because it's all chip pull. I mean, it's all just random, which is just fantastic because you really have a giant problem that you have to work through for both sides. It's not like, okay, let's maximize this, let's maximize that. Oh, maybe I'm cheating, but no, you're not. You're going to do the best you can each die roll or each chip pull and each unit activation. You're going to do the best you can at that time, just like a real opponent would. So I think that's pretty neat. And I really do love the fact that you pull out those combat modifiers that change the combat factors, because you can't math it. You can't sit there and outmath the other guy. It's going to blow up in your face.
Right. Yep.
So I think that's fantastic. It's a great system. And I just, that, and then the other thing I'm hung up on with that is the what do you call that?
Retreats.
The retreats.
Retreat.
Yeah, that just compound. It's just like, oof. I don't know if that's still the case in the latest versions.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I don't know if that was a problem in Crossing the Rhine. I never came across it then, but when you and I played, it was a shit show.
Yeah, we found out that one real quick. But still, I mean, it's a great system, great game, and I think it's fantastic that they are continuing that series because it can just continue to grow.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting this one on the table and giving it a go.
Mm-hmm. And VUCA just makes such great stuff. I mean, I'm super, super impressed with both VUCA and Sound of Drums and Assault Games, which I just did the thing for Sicily, Jellaviccio.
Assault Sicily 43. Did you
Yeah, I
back
mean,
that, or did he send you a copy
he
of it?
sent me a copy of it, and I was just like, wow, this is just, I mean, the first one was amazing. I mean,
Yeah,
the first
but he
game was,
really stepped it up on this one.
yeah, well, that's because he,
He listened.
got together with Uva, and Uva already has that eye, just like VUCA does, and they know how to step it up. And they really just, they took it another level up, and it was already high, on the quality scale. And now they've got not only that, but they've
Significant
got
improvement.
the tray that you can put all your units in. So you don't have to worry about how you're, stacking your units, because they're all the hex counters.
I love those trays. They were great.
Oh, it's fantastic. And I'm just super, super impressed and super happy that those two guys have hooked up, because Wolfgang and Uva, because I think it's just going to be amazing for that
he
series.
needed help. He was not heavy on the publishing end.
Yeah.
That was not his forte. And I tried to help him as much as I could, but I didn't know very much. That's not what I do. I reviewed it. But I knew he had an excellent product on his hands. I mean, even especially the replay value of that game, the fact that you can flip the scenarios around. It's not going to be, X force on this, always on the attack, right? You can flip it around. And then with the formation cards, you can have so much variability in what forces, because you can randomly draw those cards. You can select those cards. You can do it blind, so you don't know what you're going against. Oh, look. And even if you're playing it solo, right, you could blind draw the opponent cards and not know if you're going to run into an armored division or infantry or artillery. What? Just so many ways to play that game. And it's really well done.
And you can just now, if you got both games, you can use the terrain from both games into each other, into each game, which I think is fantastic, because
Does Kev hate the game? Is that why he left us?
No, I don't know. His camera must have just dropped on him. But it says his camera and mic have to be reconnected. So I think he might have had problems with that.
Yeah, if you guys didn't hear the game, Assault Sicily 43, it's excellent. I talked about it about a year ago.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's just phenomenal. He has done such a good job on that system.
Yeah, I mean, Assault Games is doing, now they're partnered with Sound of Drums. You cannot go wrong with Red Horizon 41 or Sicily 43. Just fantastic. Use data cards. You have these awesome little miniature type counters. I say miniature type because they're literally like moving miniatures, because you have a data card that you're reading all your data off, and then you're doing opposed rolls with custom dice.
I love the custom dice.
Fun and fast. It definitely makes Nate happy because of the custom dice and a lot of die rolling, but easy to play solitaire and easy to play head to head. Just a really fun system, and it's getting a little deeper now. They added in the expansion that they had, the airstrikes and the artillery that they had as an expansion are now part of the game, and they've standardized the rules now. So,
because that was its own expansion.
It was its own expansion. Yeah.
And
so it was a good way to try it
in.
out, though. But it's now part of the game system, which is great. And spiral bound rule books. You can't go wrong with that.
Dude,
it's just
so
awesome.
Good. And look, just the quality uplift. I mean, it was already a good. The first module was great, I thought.
Yeah.
But the quality uplift is super significant. Like it's right up there in terms of quality with Sound of Drums, but VUCA's quality, Flying Pigs quality, Lock and Load's quality in terms of componentry and all that sort of those standards, fantastic. And just dozens, 30 plus, I think I added up, 30 plus scenarios. So really happy with that module. I have not played yet. I've read the rules, but I have not got it on the table. So it's coming up.
And they have
just hold on. For those who are asking about where to get it, I just pulled it up real quick. It looks like you can order it directly from Sound of Drums. It is showing in stock. It's costly, but it's worth it. It's roughly $130. We're talking good counters, good maps, a lot of dice. Good chunk of maps, good thick, nice rule books, spiral bound, like you guys were saying. Mine was a preview copy, so I don't know if mine was spiral bound or not. But premium type components. It's not the cheap chintzy paper maps or anything like that. It's like
No,
nice
no. It's all
components,
mounted.
nice cards.
Even the
Huge
player
amount of
aids are
vehicles,
mounted
units.
wrapped. You know, they're just, it's all top shelf. It's
Yeah.
all top shelf.
Top shelf.
You're paying a premium, but you are getting a premium. And the game, especially when it comes to the replay value, you will probably never fight the same battle twice with the amount of options that you can use when it comes to the order of battle. I have not seen a tactical game like this that has this amount of variety to its order of battle that Assault does.
Yeah,
And
I
if you
really,
wanted
really
to-
can't recommend it enough.
Yeah, go ahead.
And if you wanted to, you could even, if you had some old miniatures around and you
Oh, yeah.
wanted to play with miniatures, you could easily replace the
Yep.
counters with miniatures. There's nothing stopping you because everything's on the data card. So you can easily do that, and that would look even more impressive on the game table at a game store or something
Because
like
they're
that.
huge hexes, 1-inch hexes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
was
if you
gonna
have
say
like
maybe
Tide of
Flames
Iron
War
miniatures
scale,
or
but
something,
a little smaller than Flames of War. You could do bigger than the GHQ stuff.
yeah,
but-
yeah, it would be bigger. I'm like, you can take the Tide of Iron miniatures if you had those.
Yeah.
And I have all of
Yeah.
those.
Yeah,
You
those
can
could
use
work.
those in place.
I like also that you can go, you can, if you're a history nut, you can go create your own scenarios with the formations they have and then the unit types they have. So you can go, oh, I want to do something in Sicily that was a unique little, battle between A and B. You can run off there and go make it happen.
What happens if the Russians came in? They wanted to open that front, so they said, "Hey, we're going to throw some units your way." You got Russians from Red Horizon 41. You can easily add those in there, and it's totally worth it. Sound of Drums is totally worth it, I think, and VUCA. I mean, all those guys you're going to pay a premium, but you're getting a premium product. And
I would mention the one thing that can cause a little bit of problem with the gameplay is that some of the units, actually most of the units, have some type of special rule, whether it's like camouflage or they're tall or
Mhm.
roll over, whatever it is. You can potentially forget those, but that's going to be more of like when you're first playing the game. You just need to make sure that you pay attention and flip the cards over, the unit cards, so you can see like what was that T something, the Russian tank, Soviet tank that had like
T-34.
Yeah, T-34 or whatever it was. I remember one of the rules for it. That thing was like slow, so you had a chance.
Well, it wasn't a T-34. That was fast.
Must have been the SU, one of the SU units.
SU-122.
No, it was a T something. It was a early Soviet tank that had like
I
3
don't
turrets on it. It was like a land battleship. I
Not
can't
the
remember the name.
KVs.
It had like a main one and then
Could be
a
a
smaller
KV.
one up front and smaller in the back.
Sounds
But
like a
anyway,
KV.
there's special rules to the
Yeah.
units, and because of that, you don't want to forget it because it can add a modifier here, a modifier there. I think it's T35. That's it. T35.
It's not the T35.
It's
Yes,
a T99.
T35.
T1000.
The T1000. That's the old model. But yeah, I mean,
Yes,
we definitely are all
T35.
singing
That's the
its-
one I'm talking about.
we're all singing its praises for a reason. Go check it out. I just did like a really detailed unboxing showing you all the components. You'll see for yourself. And I know Kev has talked about it as well. Gippy's done videos on it also. We have all talked about it. We've all played it. We all loved it. And, this is something at first that I remember Kev was not too keen on. He was like, it's going to be kind of silly. And then he played it. He's like, damn it, this is good.
Yeah.
I think it's because it was colorful. He's like, games can't be colorful.
Well, at first
No.
it does you do think it almost like it's going to be a little too light. And then you play it and you're like, this is not light. I mean, it's light, but it's not
It's
a
It's
cheesy light.
Different directions for the armor. You got
Streamlined.
landmines, you got barbed wire, you got fortifications, you got pillboxes, you got air raids.
And with the armor, you get hit in the front, side, rear, top. You have different dice that you roll based on your location. So you better dice.
Infantry
when you hit
aren't
the
just
front.
left out in the cold. If they're in the clear, they do have a defensive dice because they can hunker down, lay down on the ground. Check out my channel.
Now they've
I did
got
a
new
video
terrain.
where I played with the publisher, designer publisher of the game, Wolfgang. We played. I think it was from the first game. We played a scenario.
Yeah,
It was first or second, but we played a game. It came down
it
to
was
a
on
nail
Tabletop
biter
Simulator,
there.
right?
What's that?
You guys played that on TTS, right?
Yeah. Tabletop Simulator. And it was just a blast. I mean, a couple hours of us sitting there. I think actually I broke it into a couple of videos. Excellent game.
Actually,
That-
it's not as bad as you
No,
think.
no.
It actually works really good because I will say that it's probably about the same as any other opposed die rolling game. It's not too swingy because it really does matter. Like we were saying, armor. If you're going to attack the front, you're attacking the
Right.
toughest part of the tank. If you go for the side or the rear, it's the weaker part of the tank. So there's still a chance that they can save, but it's not as high as it is if you go after the front. You go after the front, you probably can expect your round to bounce off.
Yeah.
You have a good
and if
chance
you
of
dig
that.
your infantry into a building that it's like a heavy
Yes.
building, so it's got heavier fortifications,
Mhm.
they're much more likely to survive, but you can still get a shot through.
Yes. Yeah.
I've had some of my guys just picked out, they had a multitude of dice of defense and it just
Mhm.
came up shit. So,
Yeah.
you can blast through anything.
Charles saying sounds like his miniature rulebook from 1973 for armor. But yeah, no, I definitely strongly recommend it, and it's available. So definitely put your order in. And I'm telling you right now, you will not be dissatisfied.
Yeah.
And I will also warn you though, it is a big box. You're
Yeah.
gonna need.
Yeah.
You're not going to put it on your regular shelf. I'll tell you that. If you do, it's going to take up the entire shelf, laying flat. So
But it's
that's
worth
something
it.
to keep in mind.
It's tasty.
But totally worth it. And again, like I said, glad that that Wolfgang and Uwe have hooked up because that's going to be a great team. I think it's going to be great for Sound of Drums to expand their catalog, and it's going to be great for Wolfgang having the extra reach, and then the publishing know-how from Uwe already together. Just going to be a great partnership. So I mean, we're getting some fantastic stuff coming from Europe. VUCA and Sound of Drums Assault Games. We're living in good times, gentlemen. I'll tell you that.
Happy days.
Hell yeah. So before we sign out for the evening, what is everyone thankful for? Guys in the chat, put it down below yourself, what you're thankful for this year. Anything with wargaming, with your life, with whatever. You want to be serious, you want to be goofy, have at it.
I always heart boobs.
Nate, you're up first. So boobs.
Well, I'll show you the newest member who's been sitting with me the whole time here that you should know about.
Oh,
That you actually helped me with there, Mr.
yeah.
Roll.
What's the name?
This is Bingo.
Bingo, nice.
Bingo's
what a
tired.
cutie.
He's a little boxer mix.
Yeah, I can tell he's a little boxer. I love boxers. They're so great.
See? That's you,
He's a
Bingo.
cutie.
How old is he?
3 months.
Oh, what a
3
cutie.
months. So the kids are excited. They've loved him. My little girl spent more time with him than anyone else. Like they just lay there and cuddle with him. He plays with them.
Nice.
This has worked out a lot better. And we did end up finding Wyatt a good home. He's already got another
Good.
dog friend. So that worked out.
He needs it. He needs someone that's going to keep up with his energy levels.
It just, with me being disabled, I was barely able to walk him. She couldn't walk him and the kids were scared of him. And
Yeah.
it just wasn't working out. And I know he wasn't happy with our living situation. And we wished we could have done it. We tried everything to make it work and it just didn't. And honestly, I wish they had been more honest with us because if we'd known more about the breed beforehand, we would have gone a different direction, but we didn't realize that. And evidently that's something that breed is notorious for.
Right.
It's a high
And we're like,
drive.
look, yeah, I'm big enough to handle him, but I also walk with a cane. You should have you could see that.
Yeah.
You should have mentioned that to us from moment one. But evidently he's with a farm now and he has a female
good.
dog friend.
That's
Got a
awesome.
lot of room to roam, which is good.
That's what he didn't have the room here.
Yeah.
I gotta admit, I choked up a little bit. I did not want to, lose my boy, but it would be unfair of me to keep him in a situation that didn't
Mhm.
work for him.
Well, he ended up in a good situation, which is
Yeah.
a positive, conclusion to that situation, which is what you want. You want him to be happy in a better situation than he
Yeah.
was in your
Now
situation with you guys.
Now you rescued somebody else, right? So
Yeah. Well, he evidently, I think I mentioned this to you guys, the hurricane that came through in my state.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's just a couple hours from me. And it devastated the area. So they were rescuing thousands of
Oh, wow.
dogs. And a lot of these
Mhm.
dogs were pregnant and they were having puppies. And all the shelters were inundated with just hundreds of dogs. They were trying to spread them around as much as they could. And we ended up going to a couple of their, meet and greets. And sadly, one of them they had rescued from a hoarder, and she showed me videos of what the place looked like where they had rescued the dogs. And it was sad that anyone had allowed it to get to that. It was worse than anything you'd ever seen on TV.
No
Mm.
way.
We're talking like hundreds of dogs. There were so many dogs in this decrepit building that they were literally on top of each other. Right. And they told me they rescued 160 dogs. And I'm like, if you rescued 160, how many had to be put down because they were sick,
Yeah.
injured, diseased,
Mm.
whatever. And it's good that they were able to rescue those, but how many suffered that didn't need to,
Yeah.
I am extremely dog friendly, so I hate seeing anything like that happen. But Bingo's been great. He's chewing my hoodie right now. And he was very happy. So we're happy for our Bingos.
That's awesome. He's a little cutie. And yeah, I mean, we're the same way. We only rescue. We don't buy from breeders. We only rescue. And Linda volunteers with a rescue. We constantly donate to rescues, and we're very active in that regard and do the same thing too. And it's a shame, especially with the whole mess that was there in North Carolina. It's just a giant clusterfuck on so many levels. You know, that could have been a lot of that could have been avoided and handled much, much better. But still, you know, it's good to see that the people and the dogs are being helped. Unfortunately, not fast enough, in my opinion. And you know, that's a whole nother topic for another night of ranting.
Well, there was 3 in his litter. His mom
Wow.
got rescued. He got born, and there were 2 girls in him, and they all got adopted pretty quick. Because
Yeah.
I mean,
They're
he's
cute.
adorable.
Very
Look
cute.
at him. He looks
Yeah,
like his
he's a
daddy.
cutie.
Yeah. You look like daddy. He's so happy, and he has snuggled with me every day since I got it. He's my boy. I love my pup. Anyway, I'll stop hogging the time. We'll go back to work.
No. So let's see here. We've got David and Prado. I'm thankful for my family and friends. I'm thankful for too many things to list.
Nice.
But to list.us, is that like a website? And then Charles says our remaining dog will be 16 at Christmas. We just lost one who turned 15 on July 4th. Sorry to hear that, Charles. It's always
Tough.
one of the very rough things
Always
to
tough.
deal with. And Nordic has a rescue cat who is a stray and the most loving cat I've ever encountered. I don't know if I've ever seen a loving cat. I'm not a
Our
cat
cats are
person.
evil.
Yeah, but no, I don't. I'm not knocking anyone for rescuing an animal. I think that's a very noble thing and a great thing to do. I always pick on cats. Also thankful for all of you sharing your gaming experiences with us.
Little hot Billies.
Just rescued 2 death row dogs. Awesome.
Dang.
Save them from the needle, which is always a great thing. Thankful for your 3 grandchildren. That's awesome, Charles.
That is super cool.
What else are you thankful for, Nate, before we go on to Kev?
Good friends, good family.
He's got to look around. I got to look
Good
around
food.
for
I had to think
motivation.
for a sec. I hadn't planned on speaking again. Yeah, the kids, the wife, good friends. So, get to play games, so I can't complain.
Very cool. Kev?
Yeah, I'll do it quick. I mean, I think I'm super thankful for just about to get the family back together again and get all the kids under the one roof and do Thanksgiving. And I'm happy for this community and thankful for everybody that, shares with all of us and helps us all out and watches our stuff and laughs and grins and scowls with me. So that's cool. And I'm just glad to be able to keep playing and participating in the hobby.
True. Nordic, I'm thankful for Noble Night Games taking banish all their fears off my hands. That was one that was his one thing that he was so annoyed with.
I wonder if they pay fairly. I've never sold anything to them.
I heard that they do give you better credit than if they give you cash. So they'll give you more for credit. I'm just going to throw a number out. They'll give you $7 or $8 in credit instead of $5 cash. So they give you more when you're going to keep it in store, which makes sense. So that's pretty cool. But I've heard a lot of people praise them on that. So I've never done it myself, but that's good to know. maybe
the,
at some point in
the
the
one
future.
thing
I'll
they
use it.
do have is they have everything. If you
Yeah.
want
Yeah.
it, they probably
true.
got it.
I told my wife to send all my stuff to when I cock it,
When I die, just box it up and ship it off to these guys.
ship it off to Noble Knight.
And don't take store credit.
Yeah, don't take store credit. Yeah,
They'll get a better. Well, I heard you say they give you a better deal. Yeah, but then you got to buy games, and that's the whole point of selling these things when I'm dead is
exactly.
just to get the cash. But I'm thankful, obviously, for my wife, my 3 dogs, and my family, friends, and you 2 clowns. The show, everybody that tunes in every show with us, and obviously getting a chance to work on all these games, getting to see cute puppies like Bingo over here. It's just been a great year, and looking forward to next month's Christmas show, which will be the end of the year,
Yes.
and should be a lot of fun. And
We're trying to do some giveaways. I already got some stuff for the
very
Christmas show.
good. Very
I'm
good.
going to try to reach out to some of those digital
I'll give this
publishers. Yeah,
Ben's
not
got a new
fancy.
giveaway.
If you guys are interested in digital games, I'm going to reach out to Micro Pros and Slytherin, see if they'll toss in a code or 2
Awesome.
as well. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. We always have a handful of things to give out for Christmas.
Nice. Oh yeah, that's how you got your. Wait a minute. You use your store credit? They have models at Noble Knight? I did not know that.
They have everything. Anything you could want, they've probably got it.
That's pretty cool.
That could
You're
be
just
dangerous.
you're going to pay more than it's worth.
Well, if I'm looking to sell games, give it to them if they're going to give me a good value for the game, and I could swap it for a model kit. It's not a bad deal. Oh wow!
Get mad at them. Be done with it.
So there you go. All right. Well, that'll be it for this show, I should say, and we will catch you guys next month for the Christmas show. We'll be advertising that. It'll obviously be before Christmas, but it'll probably be pretty close to Christmas. Like this one was very close to Thanksgiving, and we will keep you guys updated on that. Real quick around, Nate, what do you got coming up on the channel?
Like I said, I've got D-Day Dice. I've got the finish up of the starting video I've done on Word of War, Blood and Fury, and I am almost finished setting up because I've just been taking it like half hour here, half hour there. The huge scenario 21 from Blood and Fury. It's the big 8-map one, and it's every counter from this game and some from the previous game. So it's going to take me a while to set it up. But once I have it set up, I've got it in a spare room so it can stay there for a while, and I'm just going to film the hell out of that. And other than that, I've got more digital stuff coming, like Armor Commander 2, the one that uses like the ASCII stuff. Excellent game. Definitely worth checking out. Just be mindful they use that idiotic British spelling. So there's the U.
Color, not color.
Yeah. But Armor Commander 2, it's based off of Patton's Best. I didn't realize that. And it's really just an excellent game. Had so much fun with it. Sea Power. I've got that. What's it called? Urban Strife. Urban Strife's coming up from Micro Progress. I'm going to be covering that as well.
Nice. Kev?
No idea. I think I'm debating setting up Sacred Oil, but I looked at all the counters that weren't clipped, and maybe after Christmas. So I don't know. I've got EFS set up right now, but that's about it. I just took down.
The maps are odd for that one. For
Yeah.
Sacred. Depending on the
It's
scenario,
it's an odd layout.
it's not a square. It's finagled.
Yeah, not how I would have done the maps, but whatever. It is what it is. So I actually don't have a plan for between now and Christmas. I don't think I'm going to be playing too much. I'm going to kind of chill out a little bit and take it easy.
Nice.
We're out, do some knitting, sitting on the porch.
Yeah,
rock.
crochet. I'm more of a crochet guy than a knitting guy, but
Needlepoint. Expand into needlepoint, maybe. But I've got, like I
What about
said,
you?
what's that?
What about you?
Well, like I said before, I've got Gramps Learn to Play coming up. There's going to be 2 videos in that one because they're really detailed. Merv, the developer on the game, worked on that with me on that, and he was really detailed. So there's going to be 2 videos on that, and then we've got the Aaron Armour videos, which will be coming out soon as well. I know everyone's been waiting for them. We've been wanting to get them out. Just they were last edits that Bruce had to get through some other parts of his other projects before he can get to this, and now he's got half of the edits done. He's sending those over to me. I'll get working on those while he does the last half of the edits, and then I'll add those in, and hopefully in the next 2 weeks, maybe sooner. I don't know how fast he'll get the other ones done, but sometime in December, we'll have Aaron Armour videos out finally, which
And then Purple Haze. Right.
and Purple Haze, I'm going to sit down and play some of that this weekend. That I don't know if I'm going to shoot video or not. I'm going to probably just play around with it, refamiliarize myself with it first, because I don't like, if I'm going to shoot any video, I want to be familiar with the game before I sit down and do it, because otherwise I'm going to be like, oh yeah, what was that rule? Screw that. I'd rather be familiar with it and then play through it. And then
Don't let getting the rules right get in the way of it.
yeah, that's true. I could do that and say screw it, and then everybody can correct me on it like they always do when you do a live playthrough or any type of playthroughs. But and then what we'll do is we'll play some 6 Days in Fallujah on Friday night. Hopefully we can figure out a way to stream that as well. I think that'd be kind of neat. So that's where we're going to be at. And like I said, next month will be our holiday show for Christmas, and we look forward to seeing you guys there. Have a great Thanksgiving, everybody. Have a good night.